What's happening, guys? I'm Dan. Welcome back to the channel. We're still outside reviewing. Don't know for how much longer. It's almost November. Time of recording, October 30th to be exact. So today we're diving into more Michigan craft beer. It's a brand new variety pack coming from Founders Brewing Company out of Grand Rapids, the infamous Founders. Maybe a little bit bigger of a company than it once was, but here we are with new products to try for you guys. I'll give it the honest review. And here we go. This is the Golden Ale brewed with coffee. So a lot of this variety pack is very winter driven. I mean, there's an oatmeal stout, there's a porter, which I believe the porter was out before, has a different ABV this time around, and then there's a winter bock in this. So the first one I thought I'd review for you guys was the Blonde Roast. So again, Golden Ale brewed with coffee, canned on 8/22/24. So this just got released into distribution, and it just made its way into distribution 2 months later after it was originally canned and packed. I don't understand that. And it's hella windy out here, guys. Hopefully I don't get killed by a tree, but again, one of the last days I'm probably going to be reviewing out here. So let's get into this one. Again, not sure why it has to be so old. It just got put into distribution. It's one of my bigger complaints from big companies like New Belgium and Founders. You see these guys really packing things way early on and then releasing it months later. I don't understand that, but I know they have to get it ready for mass distribution, so it is what it is. This is 5.5% ABV. I think I stated that already. And as we pour it looks like a golden ale, guys. There's nothing that pretty about it. Off-white head that's continuing to rise. Wow, that came up pretty nicely. And it looks like a golden ale. It looks like a normal lager, blah, 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 blah. Moderate carbonation streaming to the top. And is there anything else? Freshly brewed coffee aroma, vanilla notes. That's all they've put on this can. So there you go, you see it. Let's get into this one, get a nose. It's pretty cold too. Yeah, that's really coffee forward. It's roasted French roast coffee. I say that a lot. I have a French roast Starbucks coffee every morning. It smells very roasty. It smells fresh and kind of like oily, slick coffee beans. Moderately sweet vanilla notes. And a little bit of like slight malty undertones from the Golden Ale, just kind of reaching through all the other aromas there. But the coffee is the most dominant factor. I love coffee. This smells very coffee forward. I always say that as a disclaimer in my reviews because I ridiculously enjoy coffee, more than average Joe by far. So this one is coming off very strongly in the coffee department. And that's really the most dominant factor, guys. I'm not going to go into too much more. Yes, subtle vanilla, we said that already. It's coffee for days. Let's get into this. Blonde Roast. Cheers, Founders. Cheers, Griffin Beverage, for distribution. So you think you're going to get bombarded with coffee, and yes, it does have that, but I'm surprised that the Golden Ale, like malty undertone, that slight white bread crackery malt is actually able to shine as much as it does. I thought the coffee would completely take over, and it kind of doesn't. It comes across very nicely, and then it subsides. It's a little bit watery through the middle, but you know what? It hits you like it's going to be like a coffee porter, hits you like it's going to be like a coffee oatmeal stout. And then it lightens up on the palate. It becomes very light and drinkable and very subtle as you continue to drink it. That was an interesting first sip. Let me get back in. The coffee hangs on. I mean, there's certainly a fresh pressed coffee here. There's roasty notes. It's pungent. But again, I'm pretty amazed that the actual Golden Ale is able to shine through as its normal base as much as it does. Again, that coffee does subside, but it does coat your mouth very nicely. This subtle vanilla thing is nice. It kind of adds into the slight maltiness of the Golden Ale. It becomes just a solid Golden Ale when you're done with the finish on the sip. Again, the coffee's not overwhelming. I almost want a little bit more coffee, but I guess you'd get lost calling this a Golden Ale. So in all fairness, that's really good balance by Founders. It's got some nice, beautiful notes of coffee and richness, and then you get a little bit of robust roast. But again, the malty undertone and crackery malt base from the Golden Ale is what actually does come through at the end, which goes to show you there's really nice balance coming from Founders. They know what they're doing. And it's different. You see some of these beers from time to time, but they're not very abundant in the market. You won't see them too often. I think it's a nice breath of fresh air. It's a little bit more decadent and a little bit more rich. than compared to just a golden ale by itself, especially going into the winter months. I think that's the point of this variety pack. It gives you a little bit of that winter warmer when you're digging into one of these beers. I think this does the job for this time of year. It's a good beer. I mean, I have no serious complaints about this. I do, in my mind, I want more coffee selfishly, but it finishes as a golden ale, and that's what it states on the can. It's a golden ale with coffee, guys. Perfectly as the label states. The coffee does hang on though, like it does build. And again, it doesn't overshadow the golden ale too much where it just becomes a porter. You know, it's not just a porter at the end of the day. This is what it says it is. So rating, solid beer. I think it's fun, different. Still dry and drinkable at 5.5, and it has a little bit of some decadence to it. 3.9 out of 5. Like, I feel like I don't have to get overly fancy, but a lot more fun than a standard golden ale. 3.9 out of 5, guys. It's been the Blonde Roast coming from Founders, and thank you so much for being here. And if you're gonna pour a beer, pour Michigan beer.